isa na naman pong episode ng Usapang Training at
Iba pa.
Iba pa. Welcome to episode 5. A blessed Sunday to everybody who's joining us in this episode. I am Louie Banta, CEO and Chief Trainer of LJMB Consulting.
Hi everyone, ako po si A.M. Villaluz, Site Manager of Vista Print Manila and current BOT Secretary of PSTD.
Magandang gabi sa lahat. Ako po si June Roy, past President po ng PSTD 2021, currently working as OT Consulting Head of Nomura Research Institute, Manila Office. Welcome.
And hello, good evening, everyone. So my name is Pearl Martinez. I am the Global L&D Manager for SGS Company and currently the Chair of the Membership Committee of the PSTD. Welcome.
And welcome, everyone. We're looking at the early birds and the on-time attendees that we have today. Yes, and I'm sure that there are more who will join us as the minutes would pass by. Ang aga natin nagsimula ngayon, ha? Talagang Honda tayo ngayon, ha? Honda. Honda dot, to. I 59 pagkatapos ng video, we already welcomed everybody. And again, this is the 5th episode. We just celebrated the monthsary of Usapang Training last Sunday. And bago tayo pumunta dun sa ating topic for today and our guest speaker, Balitang PSTD muna.
Yes. Salamat, Louie. Okay, it's not too late, mga katropa. We still have some classes or sessions coming up this month for March 20, Bridging Competency Gaps Through Effective TNA. Yan. Very important po yan. Kung talagang gusto nating i-link ang ating learning to performance, it starts sa ating effective TNA to be facilitated by Miss Athena Encarnado. Yan. And of course, let's not forget our tipanan for this month on March 30, Fostering Inclusion in Talent Development. And we have our guest speaker, Joselle Tech. Damay na rin natin yung mga upcoming sessions in April, right? Designing Hybrid Learning Course and Data-Driven Talent Development. Ayan, we have Lawrence Co, Marbita Bungar, and Mr. Six Sigma Guy himself, Rex Tuozo, running these two programs. And let's close April with an amazing April, facilitating digital learning. Ayan, so you can go to the website to register for these programs. Of course, members get preferred rates. Another reminder, ayan, nakita nyo na yung video kanina, no? Pero for those of you who want to nominate, ayan, or register, pwede rin for applying the Gawad Maestro Awards. Yan. We will have the Gawad Maestro Awards this year to honor and recognize learning professionals, learning leaders, learning organizations and programs na talagang nag-excel during the past couple of years. Welcome po kayo. We're still accepting applications. Just go to the website. And of course, see you po, naka-super early bird rates pa ang ating breakthrough 48th National Convention team of PSTD. See you in Boracay. Conquering Limitless Possibilities ang sub-team natin and it's gonna be very exciting. And last but not least, May 30, marami tayong activities kaya maraming balita. May 30, we have a Talent Development Summit. Ayan, we're bringing back the Talent Development Summit for all our talent development professionals out there. Ayan. That's it. Maraming salamat mga katropa and back to you, Louie.
Ang daming balita, meaning ang daming initiatives ng Philippine Society for Talent Development for the members, and not only the members but to all talent development, training, and L&D practitioners in the country and even in the region. Excited ako dun sa dun sa Bora. Ayan, no? Boracay September National Convention. May excuse na po tayo, no? May napakaganda tayong excuse para pumunta sa Boracay. So please register now. There are early bird rates. And the good thing is that since you're investing in your learning, personal development as well, might as well do it now. Mas mura pa ang bookings ng airfare at saka hotel. Kayo ba, June, Pearl, and EM, naka-register na at naka-book na? Right?
Yes, naka-register, may plane ticket na. So, hindi naman excited. Pero all
Pero
set.
merong di ba? May discount. Pagka nag-register ka, may discount sa Savoy Hotel.
Yes. And significant, It's a really good deal.
Significant.
Yeah.
Hala tayong hindi pa nagre-register. Nakikinig din sa mga, no? Now, I'm really enticed to do that because it's not just a lot of savings, no? It's also being part of the country's premier training institution, training association, and the first face-to-face, tama? Face-to-face convention after 3 years of doing it successfully.
Yes.
Wally. So makakaka-join lang po sa atin. Once again, this is Usapang Training at iba pa hatid sa inyo ng PSTD or Philippine Society for Talent Development. We have repeat guests or repeat attendees from the previous sessions. Now we can see their names here, no? And I'm sure maaga pa kasi 6:06 pa lang, no? I'm sure marami pang mag-join sa atin as the minutes pass by. Nandito rin si Bobby Galvez. Hello. Hello. Last week kasama natin si si Jerry Plana, mga institusyon, no, ng HR at ng L&D sa Pilipinas, no? Kasama.
Owie is also here.
Owie Mariano.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mariano. Ba't hindi ko siya makita sa aking list of participants, no?
Sandali, nakita ko lang.
Nawala.
I have 13 here. So let's get the ball rolling so we can ask a lot of questions and cover more subtopics in today's topic on episode 5. Career management as a critical component of talent development. Sa mga kaka-join lang po sa atin, first episode nyo ngayon, or you missed last week's episode, last week, we were talking about the talent development framework. And we differentiated learning and development from talent development, and we saw that L&D is just one component of the entire talent development. Kaya naman, ang gagawin natin from this episode and onwards, we will do deep dive sessions in each of the components in that framework. And we chose to focus on career management as one of the first ovals or circles in that talent development framework that you saw last time. And the guest that we invited today is also one of our hosts sa Usapan Training. Saka nakakita, host ka na. Guest ka pa. Sulit na sulit. Diba? Talaga nga namang yung mga host natin, sobrang talagang solid, experienced, veteran, seasoned practitioners of talent development in the Philippines and have so much to share from their corporate and consulting practice. Okay? We know that our host for today, our guest for today is one of our co-hosts, Pearl Martinez, who is Global Learning and Development Manager at SGS Co. Anong ibig sabihin? Global L&D Manager, may K. Yan, no? Okay? May K at may C, credibility, and I look forward to her sharing her insights and extensive experience in global organizations that she has joined. Specifically, practices in her current organization on key components of career planning and management that can help organizations, individuals, and L&D practitioners to help their employees reach their full potential. Once again, our guest for this episode, career management as a critical component of talent development, Pearl Martinez. Welcome, Pearl.
Hello, everyone. Hello ulit. Hello lang. So thank you for introducing Louie. So hopefully I can share with you some of my experiences. Of course, we have June Roy here na talagang isa sa mga nagsimula din ito. And we have Bobby Galvez, as Louie said.
Bobby.
Mga experts ito. So medyo nakaka-intimidate ang experience ng mga kasama dito.
Mga institusyon kung tawagin natin, di ba?
Yes.
Mga haligi ng L&D, no, at consulting sa Pilipinas. Who's now bumati si Bobby dito. Of course, we all know that Bobby's now based in Jakarta, but thank you, Bobby, for still joining us.
Institution daw.
Hindi naman. Hindi naman, no? Well, you're our chosen guest for this specific component of the talent development framework on career management. Yes. What's career management, career planning, and of course, we all have our ideas on why it's important, but from somebody who has really implemented it in a massive scale, what were the benefits, no, of having such a system in organizations?
Yes. Well, basically, bakit ba natin ginagawa yung career management? We always do employee engagement surveys in all the organizations I've joined over the years. We would usually conduct annually or even mga every 2 years employee engagement survey. And if you notice, kung nakapag-engagement survey na kayo, usually number one, of course, is compensation. Palaging gusto ng tao, mas malaking sweldo. Pero among the top 3, career management, career planning is always one of the top 3. Ibig sabihin, very important to sa ating mga employees. Now, what is career management? So, in my experience, career management is really an all-encompassing process, no? Sanay tayo sa career planning. And kahit individual, we should do career planning individually, di ba? Tayo, alam natin, yung bata pa lang tayo, sinasabihin na tayo, anong gusto mo paglaki mo, di ba? So basically, that's what career planning is, di ba? Dapat meron kang goal. Anong gusto mong maabot sa career mo? And we bring this practice down to the organization wherein you create tools, you create processes to help the employee map their career throughout the organization. Kasi important nga sa kanila yan, di ba? So they should know, hanggang dito lang ba ako or where can I go when I look at my career within the organization? So anong benefit nun sa atin, lalo na sa ating mga talent development professionals? Again, as I've said, if you look at employee engagement, these are one of the top drivers of employee engagement. And it really increases our employee value proposition sa organization. Lalo na ngayon with the millennials and with the Gen Zs, napaka-important sa kanila ng career development. I've done a lot of interviews with millennials, and one of the things, surprisingly, ito yung mga medyo iba na doon sa mga millennials natin and mga Gen Z, Gen Y, and whatever. Ang hinahanap na nila, what is the career management process in your organization? Ito ay palaging tinatanong sa akin. Parang, how far can I go when it comes to my career in the organization? Unlike before, ang mga tanong palagi, magkano ba ang sahod? Diba? Malaki ba ang sahod dito? Ano ba ang benefits? Ngayon, surprisingly, tinatanong na ano ang career sa loob ng organization. And I've also seen organizations where people leave because they cannot see anything in their career. They would even transfer organizations and transfer to a lower paying job because the career path is clearer. Mm-hmm. So I think that's one of the benefits, and that's why our role is more critical nowadays compared to maybe a few years ago.
And it reminds me of a millennial, a Gen Y that I hired in 2015. No? Kasi yung Gen Y natin started joining the workforce ng mga 2010 na? 2010, 2011. So that was also the time when I got interested in learning about this new generation that joined the workforce. Ang unang tanong sa akin, tanong sa akin in the first month is, ano po ang plano niyo sa akin? Yan, ano?
Yeah.
Ganun na ganun. Verbatim question, sir, ano po ang plano niyo sa akin? Sabi ko, what do you mean, ano ang plano? No? Siyempre, it's a vague question, no? Sir, in terms of career. And then I realized, per what you're saying now, so 8 years later, it still is one of the top 3. Tama ka. I've heard from different clients that their engagement surveys will always have career growth, no, career opportunities as a top driver for engagement and retention. Okay? So, how does your company implement career planning and career management? Because we invited you because we got excited sa mga kwento mo, Pearl, sa mga tools at mga apps or mga mechanics ng inyong career planning and management process. Excite us in our audience. No? And you can also walk us through anong naging results, no, sa SGS Co.
Okay. So, well, as part of SGS Co, kasi part nung role ko, although tinatawag pa rin na learning and development, I think it's because that's what we came to be known for, di ba? Pero, if you look at the tasks of learning and development professionals, or yung some organizations already call it talent management or talent development, di ba? So, ang isa sa role ko is really to map out ano yung career path ng aming organization. And this is how we did it, di ba? So actually, it's still a work in progress. Hanggang ngayon, dinidevelop pa rin namin yung tools unti-unti kasi I think that's one thing that we have to learn, that this is a very long process to develop. Hindi ito overnight, ay, gusto kong mag-career pathing. Kailangan may career path ako. Gawin na natin, drawing na lang natin, tapos na. Diba? Medyo mahaba yung process. So we started off first by identifying the jobs, diba? Identifying what are in our job descriptions. Kasi yan lang ang talagang mainstay sa mga organizations, even the small and medium enterprises. Talagang una, job description kasi nilalagay yan doon sa kontrata di ba? Kailangan may job description, and even pag nag-advertise ka may job description. So we look at our job descriptions, we created yung mga job grades, mga ganyan. And it also helps kasi with our yung aming compensation framework, di ba? So kaya dun actually nagsimula una sa ginagawa yung compensation framework. So we had to group all the jobs into different job grades. So nung natapos na yon, sabi namin, sige, meron na tayong job grades. Paano naman magpo-progress? Diba? From one role or one job into the next and into the next. So I think one of the things na medyo unique sa amin, kasi tayo, we're so used with the linear career path, di ba? Yung, ito, dito ka, up, ganyan. Parang napaka-linear. Yung roles namin, kasi nag-feed into one or the other. Kunyari, meron kaming dalawang, or tatlo actually na positions, which is the pre-press artist, the production artist, and the hybrid, which means gumagawa ng pre-press and gumagawa ng production art. And we even have the designers. So designers, kasi branding company kami. So meron kaming mga nagdi-design talaga ng mga brands ng mga kumpanya. So we have basically 4 jobs na ganyan, or 3 jobs. And then we also have project managers, but the unique thing is about our project managers is that they have to know the pre-press and the production artwork. So, hindi napaka-linear lang. Kasi meron kaming mga PMs na, gusto namin pumunta sa pre-press, gusto namin mag-operators, or gusto namin maging pre-press manager. So, paano namin gagawin yung aming, tawag namin, what's this? The career path, diba? The competency framework. how do we do that? Na mai-incorporate namin yung mga roles na ganito. Kasi tayo sa HR, madali ang career path, di ba? From HR intern, HR associate, may ganyan. Sa kanila, mahirap kasi halo-halo. And that's why we created what we call the honeycomb career path. So, I don't know if any of you have experienced creating a honeycomb career path. So, just like, di ba, honeycomb, whatever it looks like, di ba, mga hexagon yan na, so, ganun yung ginawa namin. Maybe I can share with you what it looks like.
May sample.
Oo, para may sample lang.
So, Pearl, you are introducing this as an alternative to the traditional linear, step-by-step vertical notion of career progression.
Oo. So, well, sa amin nag-work to. Of course, it will not work with everybody. So, ganito yung, I'm sure, I don't know if it is. But this is how it looks like. This is how the honeycomb career path looks like. So, if you notice, kunyari PA or production artist ka, you can go into quality, you can go into hybrid, diba? So, ganun din kasi magkaiba yung work ng pre-press at saka and different talaga yung skills. So, if you want to go in a different path, the best way, it's not going up only, but also going into a hybrid kind of a role wherein, at sa amin, kaya kung titingnan nyo, mas mataas yung hybrid because the hybrid role, it has a higher job grade and has a higher salary than just a PA1 or a PP1. Diba? So, ganyan yung ginawa namin na career path namin. So, nung natapos na namin yan, of course, ganun naman yung process nung career pathing and creating the career management framework. It's really first to identify what are the roles, what are the job grades, all of that stuff. And then creating this career framework. Ang ginawa pa namin, after that, we created what we call the skills map. So sample lang to na, hindi yan yung finished product. But this is how we went about it. So important lang siguro na note is that it's important that you have to have a competency-based HR.
That's the requirement, no?
That's the requirement. It all starts with competencies. Hindi pwedeng job grades lang kasi mahirapan kayo. So we listed down what are the common competencies across the different roles. So even if you look at a PA1 and a PA role and a PP role, it all has these 4 competencies. Yung process, collaboration, driving results, and subject matter expertise. So what we did was we put in the different skills and the different practices or part of the job description nung bawat role. So once we've done that, diba? So balik kami. So mahabang process nga eh. We have to assess also the current employees, diba? Against this framework. Yun bang current employees? Kasi minsan the job description, it does not actually reflect what they are actually doing.
More often than not, Pearl.
Yes.
Yan. So, kailangan mag-validate ka. So, i-assess mo ngayon. So, inisa-isa namin yung mga employees. Ginagawa nyo ba to? Is there something that we're not incorporating into the design? Diba? Doon sa mga ginagawa nyo.
And before you proceed, Pearl,
you
proceed, June, would you have a comment on this step or in the previous step?
Okay.
Yeah, actually it's overall kasi ang nakita ko dito, if we summarize, my personal take is it's about deliberate design, no? So you are deliberately designing not only the systems, not only the competencies, the experience and all, while why is this important? Because in my experience also, and Pearl can validate this, no? One time I joined a company, and there's a really talented person there who has been a supervisor for about 10 years. And then I asked him during our career counseling, is that, oh, so when do you plan to become an assistant manager? And the question is like something that surprises him, because it's the first time somebody asked him about that question. Why? Because the organization at that time, it's like the typical, no, yung promotion, it's not really planned, and then it has to be coming from the manager, and so it's not typical for a company to ask about his career. Parang mahihiya ka eh. So that's about deliberately designing the environment and even the conversation such that people would be comfortable planning about their career. And that would also somehow answer yung question ni Ed in the chat, no? So what if you are not decided yet where to go in their career? So the environment that is also deliberately designed would bring out that conversation. Bigyan natin ng pangalan, that's career counseling, di ba? And pag tinayin natin yun sa ating PSTD or Philippine Talent Development Framework, yun yung pagbulat. Part ng pagmulat yan, pagtuklas, pagmulat. Because part of the discovery is, I have this talent, I have this interest, where do I come in? I can go in sales, I can go in quality, I can go here, in the honeycomb. Where do I really go into? So that requires deliberate conversation so that it's properly planned. So yun ang naging take ko doon, Pearl, na lahat ng gagawin, it's not accidental, it's really deliberately designed.
Correct. Tama yun. Kasi ang ano doon is dapat makita nila pag na-design mo na madali sa isang empleyado even on his own without even the guidance of the manager, di ba? If you present these tools, di ba, to the employees, kaya nilang i-map out yung career nila so that they also know. Kasi masyado tayong dependent na, kailangan itong mga positions na to, kailangan mag-training kayo ng ganito. Pero hindi natin iniisip na, remember, yung resources ng kumpanya, very minimal yan to train everybody. Hindi na kayang i-train everybody. So, we leave the development, the responsibility of the development. We tell employees, you also have a big responsibility in mapping your careers and developing yourself so that you can reach somewhere in your chosen career.
You need to take accountability or ownership of your career.
Correct. And if I may add to that, that's where the deliberate design principle, if we may, would help, because like in one organization that I joined before, I can name names, no, ProLife UK, right? So it has a career conversation in its performance management system. So it's deliberately designed that when you go to the performance planning, to performance conversation, coaching, and then down the line towards performance appraisal, nandun yung presence ng coach ng career conversation. So what does it do? That means as a leader, kailangan handa ka, no? Na yung conversation mo, you are looking into the potential, into the career path of your people. If you are also the person who is planning your career, alam mo na pag-uusapan yon. So you might as well prepare for it. Where I'm currently working now, sa Nomura Research Institute, we have my growth plan, right? And yung growth plan na yon, there is a career conversation. Sa pool siya, hindi ka makakaiwas. Because talagang planado eh. So what it does, it provides accountability to the person to manage his career. Why? Simple principle. Your career is your future. Your future, it's your life. So you are basically saying to this person, we are providing you the platform, we are supporting you for you to be able to take care of your future, take charge of your life. That's not my life, it's your life, right? But I'm here to support you. So yun yung deliberate design. So I'm thankful to Pearl for sharing that. No?
Yeah.
Saka gusto ko yung June, yung nirelate mo dun sa pagmulat, di ba? Ito pong ating topic is the first step in the Philippine Talent Development Framework na dinevelop ng Philippine Society for Talent Development. Oo nga naman, the first step to developing your talent is awareness. No? At mamumulat ka sa ginawang example ni Pearl dun sa honeycomb design. I have something to say about that later. So it starts the pagmulat process. AM, what do you think?
I'm just very excited really with what Pearl has shared, and I think more and more organizations are realizing this. No, when you talk about what's important, because we touched on that, what's important to these younger generations in the workplace. Ako kasi believe ko talaga every generation, the motivators and the work styles, it's a reaction to the previous generation. Kaya minsan it's so different from the last one, no? And really allowing people this flexibility and responsibility and accountability. And ang kailangan talaga tapang because yes, you need well-defined job descriptions, but also you need people to start learning to go beyond what's cited in their job descriptions. Not in a way where it's a totally new role, pero also in a way that builds those competencies that you're talking about, Pearl, diba? Sabi mo nga, hindi lahat ng training mapoprovide or magiging structured or organized yung knowledge transfer. So being able to expand and build on those competencies, sobrang importante niya sa individual, sa pag-map ng career niya.
Sabi nga natin sa HR, no competencies, no HR. Diba? So the basis of HR would really be competencies. No?
Correct.
May
tanong si Ed.
Oo.
Sino ba si Ed?
Pakilala natin si Ed Ebreo. Hindi makapag-camera, but one of our hosts, and is also a trustee of the Philippine Society for Talent Development. Naka-offsite lang po siya. Medyo mahina ang signal sa kanyang training venue. Is Ed Ebreo. Ed, you're here. Please say hi, Ed. If you can say hi. Kaya ba ng internet mo?
Naka-data lang daw siya.
Pero nakakapagtanong naman sa chat. Sabi ni Ed
Ayun.
kanina. Hello Ed, pwede ba? Kaya ba? Mag-hi ka lang sa ating mga viewers.
Hello everyone.
Ayun. Nakapag-hi siya. Pwede na rin siya magsalita.
Correct. Huwag mo nang patayin, ha?
Okay na yan. Okay na. Sa chat na lang ako.
Nasagot na yung tanong kanina na how do you deal with employees who can't decide? Sabi nga ni June na career counseling, no? The career conversation in performance appraisal discussion.
Yes. We also do that, every year. Pagka part nung performance, yung annual performance review, meron talagang part doon yung career planning na tinatawag namin. So, I'd also like to share with you, kasi hindi dapat nandun lang sa what are the competencies and what are the skills. One thing that we've also developed to help our employees is what we call the experience navigator. Kasi yung experience navigator actually helps you find out, before I can go to this second part of my role, ganyan, a higher part of my role, ano yung kailangang ma-experience ko na ano yung mga experiences that I have to undergo?
Learning experiences, or job experiences?
Job experiences. Yes, I will share it. Wait a minute.
Dami po sinishare ni Pearl ng mga mga tools at mga frameworks, no?
Sulit talaga yung manonood today.
Pearl, bago mo simulan yan, si Bobby Galvez may comment dito eh.
Sige.
Dalawa na. At tanungin lang natin si Bobby if he's unable to unmute, no? Bob, can you join us and just so we can put a voice on your comment here. Ayan na, from Jakarta.
Indonesia. Hi, Bob.
Hi, hello. Maganda talaga yung points ni na Pearl at ni June na binanggit. No? Sa amin kasi talagang flat yung organization, even if we're a large group. So usually the movement is from, if you really want to move, you have to take on jobs in other business units. And the job that you take on might not be the same with your job. So it's very difficult to do career discussions when you know there is no next level job similar to yours. Or you could. So the idea is to have learning paths and be ready to assume other jobs. So ang very important yung core competencies that you were mentioning. If you have a career map or competency map, there are core competencies like growth mindset, openness to learning, tapos yung clear thinking that are, so these core competencies allow you to take on jobs that may be different from what you have. The next point is yung sinasabi ni Pearl in terms of experience. What's your term, Pearl?
Experience navigator.
Experience navigator. What we do is we have a system called assignmentology. It's a whole science that allow you to take on new challenges, things that are new, novel to you, allow you to meet new people, different kind of challenges that would force you to grow. And we were very successful to grow rapidly our talents, especially our top emerging talents, to the assignmentology method.
Assignmentology.
Yes, it's a science of giving assignments.
Assignments, wow.
Basically, something that is new, something that novel, the term is novel, something that is not easy. There should be a possibility of failure. Something that require you to work with different types of people. So kailangan people that you were not used and might be different from what you have been used to. So it will challenge your influence skills. So, and the job should really be it's not a well-defined job.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's a matter, so that is what we have found useful. Ngayon, yung problem nga lang talaga kasi it's not easy. It might not be the same for everybody if they want to stay in their current jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yun lang.
Pearl, pakita mo na yung experience navigator at baka sobrang link yan doon sa assignmentology, no? Na minimension ni
Parang ang ganda ng term ni ni Bobby. So ito, example to ng well, this is HR. So ito yung HR experience navigator namin. So pag nasa HR ka, if you notice, makikita mo dito sa medyo tatabi ko lang to. Yeah. So makikita mo dito from like job grades. So andyan yung job grades namin. So may mga roles yan. So kunyari HR intern ka, ganyan. So job grade 6 and below ka, di ba? Tapos makikita mo based on your job grade, kasi dapat alam mo naman kung anong job grade mo, di ba? So ginamit namin yung kay David Ulrich na competencies ng HR, the 4 basic competencies ng HR. So business knowledge, HR delivery, strategic contribution, and personal credibility. So pag nakita mo dito, makikita mo for each of the job grades, diba? Kung ayari ako, job grade 6 ako, kailangan magkaroon ako ng experience in an operational environment. Dapat nakikipagtrabaho ako sa operations. Tapos, be an active member of a network. I think this one is beneficial to us sa PSTD, diba? Saka yung iba pang mga organizations. Kailangan meron kang ka-network na HR. Diba? So, importante sa amin na meron kang experience being an active member of a network. But it does not mean an external network. It can even be a network inside the organization. So, meron kaming mga tinatawag naming mga employee resource groups, diba? For mga DEI, ganyan. So, dapat meron kang ganung experience para mas ma-expose ka kasi nga global yung organization. And then, as you go up, you would notice that even your experiences kailangang tumaas. And ano ngayon ang benefit ng meron kang experience navigator? It's not only the employee who sees na kailangan pala ako ng ganitong experience. Even the supervisor can say, gusto ko nang i-promote itong tao na ito eh. So pag gusto ko na siyang i-promote, ay kulang pa siya nitong experience na to, I want to prepare him. I'll give him this experience in his IDP, in his individual development plan. Kailangan pala ma-expose ka sa ganito. Kailangan ma-experience ka sa ganito. So it does not limit development to training. Kasi maraming frameworks dyan, training lang eh. This one, holistic yung pagtingin sa development ng empleyado. Diba?
In fact, training is just the classroom training that we are referring to, the 10% of the 70-20-10 model. No? But development is all-encompassing, includes the 70% on the job exposure and the 20% coaching and mentoring, which have all been touched on. No? Ano pa bang nandito sa chat room? Sabi ni Kevin Rosnera. No? Medyo mahaba yung sinabi ni Kevin dito. So Kevin, is it okay if you can unmute and very quickly para may buhay, mas merong may voice behind this chat? Kevin, is it okay? Please do share.
Yeah, please. Saka practical yung sa kanya galing sa actual experiences. Please, Kevin.
Hi everyone, good evening. I'm Kevin. Formerly ako yung head ng HR ng Office of VP Lenny. So sa context kasi ng government, wala kaming flexibility to move people around really. At the most that we have is assigning them committee work. So what we did, part nung onboarding namin, first 6 months is may one-on-one with new hires. Dahil nga marami sa mga hire namin na bago, mga kaedad ko rin na yun din yung mga interests, no? Ano yung career growth. So we ask them what skills are you interested in developing, and we try to find what committees would provide them with the experiences that would allow them to develop those skills. Kasi if they just stay with the job that they need to do, kasi dun sila na-hire, kumbaga hindi nila ma-explore yung other pathways. And sa side din ng HR, challenge din namin yan considering na at that time, marami na rin talagang magre-retire and kailangan mo nang buuin yung talent pipeline mo within the organization. And since this is done as early as the first 6 months, it also helps motivate new hires para mas magstay din sila dun sa organization. So, yeah.
So we're hearing a lot of applications, no? Different forms, maybe same principles, but different forms of career planning and career management. Ang gusto ko doon sa sinabi ni Kevin, pati yung mga ad hoc, yung committee work, yung tinatawag nating extracurricular, no?
Correct.
If we will just have deliberate design, sabi nga ni June kanina, this can really be opportunities for development, no? Well, you've already shared with us the step of identifying, tapos may assess, may honeycomb design ka doon, tapos meron kang experience navigator dito.
Yeah.
Sa honeycomb design, is it possible to really move sideways and diagonally from one color to another?
Yes, we've had experiences of employees actually doing that. Basta malinaw lang sa kanila. Ano yung mga components that they have to take to be able to move to another role? So for example, if I'm PP, I want to go into hybrid. Like anong knowledge ang kailangan kong malaman? So, may mga employees kami that actually ask for additional work. Sasabihin nila, kasi sir, gusto ko sanang mag-move into a PP role in the future. Pwede mo ba akong bigyan ng extra assignment? Diba? That would actually teach me. At saka pwede bang parang ang tawag ito, pupunta ako sa ibang department with another manager para mabigyan din ako ng exposure sa ibang line of work outside of my current work that I'm doing. So it actually gives, yung sabi mo nga, accountability for their own development, di ba? So hindi yung hintay ka na lang ng hintay kung anong i-assign sa'yo ng manager mo, di ba? Pag malinaw sa empleyado kung paano silang pupunta to the next level or even hindi nga next level to another role that they want in the future, di ba? Dapat alam nila yon and they can take accountability for that. Kaya very clear sa amin ang self-enrollment sa mga training programs. Hindi dapat manager
require.
Hindi nire-require.
Yung mga magpapakita sa training, di ba, AM and Juno. So why are you here? I've been voluntold, no? And my manager did not even explain why I am sent to this training program.
Hindi na natin mabilang kung ilang beses yan. Ano?
Kaya nagiging burden sa trainer. Of course, we will fully accept it na we have to establish the reason why you have to be here in training. No? Okay? Pearl, are we moving to questions since marami ng may question uli sa chat room, no?
Siguro one last note in
Yes.
terms of our process. Yung sinabi kanina ni June na may performance management, that's I think the last step of the design. It's really tying up yung career management framework mo to all other talent management processes ng kumpanya. So that includes succession planning. So yung succession planning dapat naka-tie up doon sa career path mo, yung 360-degree na assessment, yung performance management process, yung 9-box model. So lahat yan, dapat yan tahi-tahi lahat. And that's the last step when you're creating your career management plan or career management process.
Louis, Pearl,
Yes.
you mentioned about the last step, but I'd like to touch on what Ed mentioned, which I think is part of the preliminary steps. No, when she mentioned as much as people want to grow in the organization, the manager's level of commitment in their growth may help or hinder it. So it's important that we have deliberate design of all the systems, all these conversations, all these tools. But as John Maxwell said, everything rises and falls in leadership. So if that factor is not there, even if you don't, you have all these systems in place, it wouldn't work. Especially in very large organizations, HR would have a hard time really monitoring all of that, no? Even with system. But if the leadership philosophy is very strong, that developing people is part of what I do and what I am expected to do, then I would now look for tool systems that would enable that philosophy. So nagiging yung mga pinag-uusapan natin are enablers of that leadership mindset and culture that we have. No, that's my take on what Ed mentions.
Yeah, when we talk about leadership, especially the younger, again, we keep talking about what's important to these generations that are populating our workplace, especially yung Gen Z, yung frequent na feedback, no? Sobrang important, yung sobrang timely. And all of these adds up. Sometimes sa leadership, sinasabi natin wala tayong oras, sobrang dami nating ginagawa. Pero actually na nga ganun ka needy yung generation na to in terms of structured 1-hour session. Hindi, no. As they're working, you're giving them feedback, and that helps din sa pag-build nila ng competencies nila for future goals. So very, very critical.
Relate niyang mga sinabi nyo sa question ni Emerson.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Sabi dito, Miss Pearl, some employees need encouragement, motivation, from the direct employer. Actually, all employees, no, if not most, no? Okay. Does your company have any system or process to ensure that supervisors, managers help their subordinates plan their career? Reason I ask because there are some work environments where supervisors, managers have too much on their plate. Yun yung sinasabi natin.
Yeah.
Busy and therefore deliverables muna, team KPIs, walang time to engage their employees in discussions, no? Go, Pearl. Anong meron kayong system sa company that you can
I think first, naka-incorporate siya sa performance management system namin. So, kami sa HR, we're able to track if supervisors are actually doing this. And part of that also, dahil nga every year yung engagement survey, and the engagement survey actually breaks down engagement per team, not only of the entire organization, but also per team, per supervisor. So nakikita namin on a yearly basis, ano yung mga sinasabi ng empleyado mo. So pag sinabi na ng empleyado, kunyari bumaba ang career management score doon sa engagement ng isang manager, then we actually have a meeting with all the supervisors, yung mga ganyan. Meron kasi kaming action planning every year. So engagement does not stop with just the survey. Kailangan may action planning. And may accountability yan kasi nire-report yan up to the level ng executives namin. Even our executives, yung CEO namin, yung COO namin, yung CHRO namin, actually, meron kaming dashboard na sinasubmit sa kanila and they're able to track down to the level ng mga supervisors kung sino ba ang hindi gumagawa nito at meron din kaming tinatawag namin EWAT or Early Warning Attrition Tracker. So part of that tracker is how engaged are your employees when it comes to career planning? Nagagawa niyo ba yun? Kasi pag bumaba yun sa EWAT mo, di ba? So alam namin kung may mga managers na hindi gumagawa. So as I've said, tahi-tahi lahat dapat ng systems. Yung hindi siya siloed, yung gumagawa ka lang ng process para masabi lang na meron kang ganong process. Diba? Kailangan lahat yan, titingnan mo, bawat design mo, saan to magre-relate at saan to namomonitor. I think that's one of the things that I've learned.
Anything to add, AM and June, as far as your company's practices are concerned, no? How do you deal with the issue of managers saying, I'm too busy to have career conversations with
All right. Yeah, sa consulting kasi, it's much easier compared to where I came from before, like construction. Sa consulting, we have our, one of our, you can say, metric that we are monitoring is the workload percentage. So if you're a manager managing teams, and then your workload, that means the amount of time you spend on the projects, execution, operations, is already more than like 50%, right? Then that's a concern already. Because a big percentage of what you need to do is to lead, to bring business and to mentor people, to help them grow, manage the organization. No? So that means you're spending more time already on the day-to-day operation. So having a metric like that can certainly help, because if your workload is already spent too much on day-to-day operations, that you really don't have time, no? To do the managing and leading, which is for us, it's one of your important role, right? So metric and data can help, certainly.
Sabi ni Sir Edka sa chat, it takes just an hour at most to have a career convo with an employee in a month. But if you're handling a lot, like 15, and your workload is too much, so hindi mo na may imagine saan mo mahanap yung 1 hour per employee na yan, ano. Some of the companies I've worked at, ginagawa nila, they automate some of the processes na ginagawa ng mga team leaders. That's one of the best ways you can free them up. So you really explore where can you gain some efficiency. Because ang focus talaga ng people leader is dapat people, right? When I did, I'm just gonna share this quickly. I did interviews last year for an open role in my team, and one of the questions I would ask is, what's a feedback your manager has given you that, and what did you do about it, diba? And some applicants, wala silang ma-share, or may isa umiyak pa talaga, kaya nga daw siya nag-a-apply kasi wala siyang nare-receive na feedback. So and so these people, they're not really qualified, no, as you're listening to them. Para kang pumapatay din ng career pag hindi mo pinaprovide yung feedback na yun. Yes, people are responsible for their own career, but as leaders, we also have such a big responsibility, and the impact when we withhold that is also huge.
Last Friday, I was in the leadership workshop, and sabi ko nga dun sa mga leader participants, no, it's even better to give a tough feedback, di ba? That you think people cannot accept compared to not giving it at all. Because who are you to say that they can't take it, di ba?
Yeah.
That means, go. Just one point. That means if there is that situation where leaders feel that they don't have the time, then that's already a signal, right? So having the data is one, and then with that data, you can analyze where is it really coming from. Baka naman it's about proper planning lang, no? Sabi nga ni Ed, 1 hour pero kung hindi ka marunong magplano, then you don't have time for that, no? Nauubos lahat sa operational, or maybe it's really workload, kulang sa resources, or leadership philosophy. Baka naman talagang you are more driven on the results and your definition of results is to bring in the numbers but not really developing your people. So marami no, na pwedeng anggulo. Right.
Agree ako doon, Jun, sa metric. Dapat may metric ng leader conversations, no? It doesn't have to be 1 hour, kahit 30 minutes. Mag-prioritize ka. Yung hindi naman kailangan ng longer conversations, 10 to 15 minutes, no?
Yes.
And more time where it's needed. So prioritization. And also, i-metric, bigyan din ng KPI yung mga tao.
Correct.
Diba?
Dapat yung dashboard mo ng leadership, hindi lang based sa metrics, sa KPIs, but also may yung dashboard mo. May measure yung people engagement nila.
So that they will really, sabi nga natin, what we do not measure, no, what we do not reward and measure, no, is will not happen, no.
Kailangan may scorecard kayo. Importante na may scorecard ang leadership nyo.
Yeah. In fact, Pearl, I know it's 6:55, but at ProLife UK back then, 2007, it's a bonusable KPI. That means it's one of the KPIs that the president is responsible for, and it's being monitored at the regional level. Which KPI is this? The succession ratio. That means it indicates whether you are developing your people. Kasi how many of the potential successors to the critical roles are being prepared and are considered ready. So that's a clear indication, and it would really hit your pocket. It would really hit the pocket.
Pag ako hinga ng last message si Pearl, no? I know of some companies, Pearl, na and some of my clients, meron na ring KPI yung individual contributor that you have to ensure self-development. You're getting, if your managers are saying, I don't have time, you have to demand it. Diba?
That's true.
Sabi dito ni Bobby, many managers usually devote very little time because they spend more time in the goal-setting part. When the conversation on career discussion happens, it usually is done in a check-the-box fashion, even if it's in your online performance management system. No? Okay? Yung iba raw confidential, kaya hindi ma-release, no? Okay? Kailangan daw talaga, in short, leaders should really make time. Sabi ni Kevin Rosnera, hindi rin necessary either or yung hitting targets and developing people. It is not tama. It is not an or thing, no? It should be an and thing. You can only hit targets by developing your people. Our guest for this episode, next week, Pearl, hindi ka na guest, host ka na ulit, no? So ano ang last message mo sa ating mga viewers?
I think there's one company that I've been with, and I asked one of the learning managers or one of the higher ups in learning. I asked them, why do we provide development to our employees? Ano ang framework natin when we look at development? And sabi niya, ang framework natin palagi for development is that we develop them to prepare them for a job outside of the company, which is very powerful for me. Kasi hindi mo lang tinitingnan yung future ng career ng empleyado mo sa loob ng kumpanya, but you have to prepare them. What if the company does not exist anymore, diba? Or they move to another role, diba? You always prepare them, and that's really very magnanimous thinking, diba? Very open na iniisip mo na kaagad. Am I preparing my employee for their next role outside of the company? Diba? So I think that's one thing that we need to take into consideration always. Diba? Development is not because, remember that the company grows, the company earns because you're taking care of your employees. Diba? So important na we not only give them the salary. Sabi ko nga, if you're only looking at salary to be happy in your job, then you're only happy for like 25 days in a year. Diba? So, kailangan makikita nila paano silang mag-grow sa company. Yes, that's it. Thank you.
And that our viewers is our guest speaker for episode number 5, Career Planning and Career Management and its critical role in developing talents in our organization. This is Louie Banta, together with
A.M. Villaluz.
And Junroy.
And Pearl Martinez. Thank you very much.
And Ed Ebreo. We'll see you
Ed.
Sunday for
Yes.
episode number 6. Please watch out for our posters and the next topic. Ano ba next topic natin next week, no? Meron na ba?
Meron na tayo. It's about the L&D Global Sentiment Survey. Ayan.
Oh, nice.
Yes,
So,
yes.
isa na namang umaatikabong usapan next Sunday. See us, join us at 6 in the evening. Care to join us in another class picture?
Groovy.
No? Groovy.
Groovy.
Okay, care to
Open
join
your
us?
cameras.
If you can, open your cameras and join us. We appreciate everybody's presence in this Sunday. Continuous learning natin lahat. Thank you so much. Appreciate it that you're opening your cameras. And also, please watch out for the video. Nasa YouTube channel ng Usapang Training. Please look for us in YouTube, Usapang Training. Let's go.
Subscribe.
One more time. Usapang.
One more time. Usapang Training.
At iba pa.
Nathan, last picture.
Yep. And 1, 2, 3. Okay, got it, Sir Louis.
Thank you so much.
Thank
See
you
you next
so much,
Sunday.
everyone.
See you.
Thank you, everyone.
Emerson.
Bobby,
Thank you.
bye-bye.
Thank you.